Think of your purpose as a stone that drives everything that you do and say. And everything that you do and say is a shadow cast from that stone. A human being has a million different shadows cast from that stone. Every human is doing a million things every day, and all those things are an expression of your purpose. You witness all those things, but you don't witness the stone. You can't see it. And that's why everyone is walking around and they have no idea what their purpose is.
When you look back in hindsight, everything is 20/20. In hindsight, we make mistakes, we're learning from it in hindsight.
Hey, welcome to Hindsight the Podcast. I'm Lee Jones, your host. And look, what if your entire life could be guided by just 7 words? Ian Chamandy is a strategist, author, and the co-founder of PurposeU, known for helping over 500 organizations and now individuals define and live their purpose in just a single sentence. So, we said we're going to do this in what, 7 words? So
Or
first
less.
of all,
Or less. That's the
So
part
first-
people forget.
I know we trying to figure out the max. I need to use all my words.
No,
But
you know what? It's
Uh-huh.
usually 2 or 3 or 4 words.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you don't even need the full 7 words most of the time.
All right, I hear it. So look, everybody who's like 7 words, 4 words, what are they talking about? So Ian, tell us a little bit about these words and how we can use these few words to basically create maybe a mindset and live our lives. Explain that a little bit to us.
Sure. It actually started in a company that I have called Blueprint. And Blueprint is a strategy company for organizations, companies, charities, not-for-profits, that kind of thing. And with my business partner, who sadly died during COVID, we created this process for strategic planning for an organization. And it starts with defining the one thing that makes the organization uniquely remarkable, and then articulating that in 7 words or less. So you don't have much real estate, right? What that does is it forces you to squeeze out all of the wasted words, so that all you're left with is a short expression of substance. And if you don't think that even the biggest of companies can be expressed in what makes them uniquely remarkable, can be expressed in 7 words or less, think of a company like IBM. After the Second World War in the 40s and 50s and 60s, what was IBM doing? It was selling the most advanced the most advanced technology to the biggest companies in the world. Here we are, 60 years later, 70 years later. What's IBM doing? It's selling the most advanced technology to the largest companies in the world. They have stayed on that path through generations and generations of senior management and CEOs who all said, I know how to make this company thrive. And they did in their own way, but always within guardrails, right? So think of the IBM path as being a 2-lane road that has solid guardrails on either side. Now, as you're driving on that road, you can juke and jive, as the situation, if someone driving in your lane, you got to move over, and, a tree falls down, you got to be able to drive around it, but always within those guardrails. Those guardrails keep you on track. And what I am saying to you is that those guardrails are the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. The company sticking to that path. Now, IBM does that in spite of the fact that they can't articulate the 7, they can't articulate the one thing that makes them uniquely remarkable. Nike, it's their slogan. What's the one thing that makes Nike uniquely remarkable? It's the just do it mentality, right? And they have 2 kinds of customers. They have the kind of customer who is a just do it personality, and they relate to that. They bond to Nike Nike's stance of just do it. And then you got the guys who are lying on the couch on Sunday afternoon, with their shirt up over their belly and beer and Cheetos, and they're watching the Steelers play. That's my team, by the way. Oh, did I say something wrong?
No, you said something absolutely right. That is my team. All right, now go ahead.
Awesome. Although I am not happy with what they've done at quarterback this year.
We'll see what happens.
Mr. Mooney, that was his name, right? The owner?
Yeah.
Never would have let that happen if he was alive.
No.
So anyway, so you have the guy on the couch who thinks he's a just do it guy.
Yeah.
And when Nike says just do it, he says, yeah, that's me. So it's this totally aspirational thing that people bond to. Not buying it because the sneaker has a better sole or this or a that. As Simon Sinek says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Why does Nike do what it does? Because it's committed to just do it. Right? So articulating what makes you uniquely remarkable in 7 words or less is the first step in that process that I would do with corporations. And then once you have that short phrase, then you use it to design how the company is going to communicate and design how the company is going to operate. It's 2 biggest functions, right? Operating and communicating. And so you have what makes you uniquely remarkable guiding everything that you do and say as a corporation. So that was step 1 in this evolution. Step 2 was running into a quote by Pablo Picasso, the artist. And he said, the meaning of life is to find your gift, and your purpose is to share it with the world. And I just went, whoa, wait a sec. The meaning of life is to find your gift. Well, I'm over here using this expression, the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. That's your gift, right? So you could just rephrase what Picasso said to your purpose is to find the one thing at your essence that makes you uniquely remarkable and share it with the world. So I took this thing that I did for companies and I wrapped it in a blanket of purpose. But then COVID hit. And frankly, my business kind of collapsed during COVID. And so I had to do something to make that bridge. So I got my executive coaching certification. And every potential new customer I talked to said the same thing. They said, the pandemic has got me thinking about my life. I don't like my career. I don't like where my life is heading. I want to live a life of meaning and purpose. And I would say, well, what's your purpose? That's awesome. What's your purpose? And they'd say, I don't know. And it made me realize that I could take this thing that I had developed for corporations and I could adapt it to individuals. So you, Lee, can define at your essence the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable, and then have that be the guide for your life. And what I mean, this is a really important point, because I have a great frustration with the world of purpose. The people who are the purveyors of purpose and that sort of thing, because they all talk about the benefits of purpose. They all talk about how wonderful it is, and they can't tell you what it is. When they try, it comes out either really woo-woo or really academic. And you're left there going, well, I'm not woo-woo, so I'm not going to buy into this. Or I can't figure out what these eggheads are saying. So
talking about,
how can I find my purpose if I don't even know what I'm looking for? And that was, to me, the brilliance of Picasso. Because what he said, when he said the meaning of life is to find your gift and your purpose is to share it with the world, what he was really saying is your purpose is to figure out the best possible you there is and then share that with the world. That's easy to understand. And if you buy that, then the next question is, well, how the heck do you figure out your purpose? And that's a really tough question to answer. even, because you have lots of talents. You think of
Exactly.
someone like Bruce Springsteen, or even better, someone like Joni Mitchell, who sings, she writes songs, she plays instruments, she's a painter, and she
Mhm.
has lots of other skills.
Yeah.
But her purpose is not to be an artist. That's just the expression of her purpose. To be a
Yeah.
singer is the expression of her purpose. But her purpose is something else. Springsteen's purpose is not to be a musician. It's something else. But
Yeah.
being a musician is how he expresses his purpose.
Got it.
But there is something at his essence that makes him uniquely remarkable, and he expresses it so well that he's actually one of the best in the world at doing it.
Mm.
And so
Thank you.
I believe, there's like 8 million people in this world, right? 8 billion.
I'm about to say, yeah.
I mean,
That's a little light.
there's 8 million people in LA. There's 8 billion people in the world. And I
Yeah.
think at least half of them are walking around saying, there's nothing special about me. And therefore, I don't deserve anything special. And I can't do anything special. And I'm here to say, as long as there are no two people in the world who are exactly the same, and more the same than identical twins, because they're still very different from each other.
Yeah.
As long as there are no two people who are exactly the same, you have something that makes you uniquely remarkable. And when you discover that, nobody can take it away from you. You can now articulate your superpower in 7 words or less. And nobody can take that away from you, no matter how much they beat you down. You always have that. And you always have it there to use.
So when you first started simplifying purpose to 7 words or less,
Or less.
and you started, expressing this or trying to convey this to people, did people push back? And what was, and if they didn't, they didn't. But if they did, like, what is the most difficult part of getting the buy-in? And I know you talked about not understanding purpose, but now you've given a simplified definition of what purpose is, right? But did people push back, or were they like, oh, tell me more?
Oh, sure. I mean, they may want to know more about what I'm talking about, or they may want to know more about the process. But no, they don't push back because, if you ask somebody, in your perfect world, and you knew your purpose, would you live a purpose-driven life? Almost everybody would say yes. Well, I'd love to live my purpose. I'd love to figure out my purpose. I'd love to find out the one thing that makes me uniquely remarkable. And maybe, by the way, I'm talking about all of this conceptually at the moment. Maybe I should share my purpose with you to make it a little bit more real. Mine is transforming confusion into clarity. That's my special talent, right? And so you can see PurposeU on my screen. That stands for Purpose University. Excuse me. We offer a course in how to discover your purpose in 7 words or less. I forgot the question.
No, I just
You're
asked,
saying
was
about
there any pushback? Yeah. Or
Yeah,
did you get
no.
instant buy-in? Yeah.
Yeah, no. People want to know their purpose. People want to know what makes them uniquely remarkable. People intuitively get the value. Oh, I was going to tell you my purpose. Yeah, transforming confusion into clarity. So
Yeah.
here's the magic of knowing your purpose. And I just want to preamble this by saying, remember what I said about the world of purpose being either really woo-woo or being really academic. This, when you do purpose my way, it's really tangible and really practical. Because when you're faced with an important life decision, actually, it doesn't even need to be an important life decision. When you're faced with a decision that you need to make, what you normally say is, what are my options and what are the pros and cons of each? And then you make a
Yeah.
choice, right? But when you say, what are my options? There are no parameters on that. There's no guidance in that question on how to find the answer. If instead you ask the question, which of these options most align with my purpose? Now there's guidance in the question. Oh, It's not, the entire realm of possibility out there. It's only these small number of options that actually align with my purpose.
Mm,
And so when you
mm,
make a decision, purpose is a decision-making tool. It's the dirty
yeah,
little secret of purpose at the end of the day. It's
yeah.
just a decision-making tool. It
Okay.
helps you make better decisions, ones that are aligned with your purpose. But what does that mean? Well, in part, it means ones that are aligned with the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. But one other factor is that the components of your purpose, the elements of it,
Mhm,
are your beliefs, your wants, and your talents. So if you can figure out those three buckets, your beliefs, wants, and talents, then your purpose is just an expression that ties them all together.
yeah.
So if you were to look at my beliefs, wants, and talents, you would see, oh, they're all aligned with this notion of transforming confusion into clarity, right? So when you say, which of my options are most aligned with my purpose, you're actually saying which of these options are most aligned with my beliefs, wants, and talents. And
Mm,
that's why it's so valuable. You're aligning your decisions with your beliefs, wants, and talents. And that's why they feel so right.
yeah.
And that's why they're so logical.
Yeah.
They seem so logical to you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
when you say, okay, which of these options align with my purpose, and you choose option B, and you go, yeah, yeah, you're confident about your decision because it sits right, it feels right, and it's logical.
Yeah. Hey, so Ian, you said we got like 8 million people on the planet. I know you said 8 billion. Yeah. We got like 8 billion people on the planet. And you also said that majority of them don't know what their purpose is. Or we don't have a clue of what our purpose is, right? Why do you think that is? Because you make this, I know your special power is to make things more clear, right, for everyone. Why is it so confusing, do you think? Like why do we not just get it?
Um, think of your purpose as a stone that drives everything that you do and say. And everything that you do and say is a shadow cast from that stone.
Mhm,
A human being has a million different shadows cast from that stone. Look at all the aspects of your life.
yeah.
Do you have a family? Are you married? You have a career? You have interests that you do? Maybe you write a book. Every human is doing a million things every day, and all those things are an expression of your purpose. You witness all those things,
Mhm,
but you don't witness the root. You don't
okay.
witness the stone. You can't see it. And that's why everyone is walking around and they have no idea what their purpose is, because it's sort of hidden inside them and it's doing its work.
Yeah,
You can
got you.
see the manifestations of it in your life, right?
Yeah.
I'm
So
big into music. That's one of the manifestations of my purpose.
yeah.
Okay, so all right, I like that. So you're already doing it, but you could be doing it more purposefully, right? If
Intentionally,
you
yeah. Yes,
if you
yeah,
knew if
yeah.
you knew your purpose. Look, personally, did you ever struggle with defining your own purpose initially?
Um, Interesting. It wasn't for me. It wasn't a conscious process.
Okay.
It was a cumulative process, right?
Okay.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't follow my own process because I hadn't created it yet.
I love it. Yeah.
So it was just more of an organic thing to me. It started when I was it was actually in my very first job coming out of university. I was a copywriter and I was
Mhm.
writing dribble. And
Uh-huh.
I wanted to be true to my clients and their products and services, but I would be sitting in front of the typewriter, yes, typewriter,
Uh-huh.
I
typing
remember them.
yeah, typing out words, and I would read the words and I'd go, "Oh my god, this is horrible." And so I went to an art director and I said, "Will you make me a sign that says, 'Is this true?'" And I'd stick it in the wall behind my typewriter. That as I'm typing words, I'm always asking myself, is this true? Is this true? The answer was still continuously, no, it's not. And that was the end of my career as a copywriter. But this obsession of, is it true? Is it true?
Yeah.
What is the authentic root here? What is the root authenticity of your company, of your product, of your service, of you? What is the root? Strip away all the pretense, strip away all the crap, get to the core. That became an obsession for me for the rest of my life. And one of the things that just sort of evolved organically out of that was coming up with an expression that I felt expressed me. And that was transforming confusion into clarity.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
actually, it was actually from confusion to clarity until I took my own course.
that's what you got to do.
And it shifted things and it made the suggestion of transform. And I just thought that was way more dynamic than from.
Yeah.
I loved
Okay.
how it changed the expression, transforming confusion into clarity.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, so what is this magical framework? Can we talk about it, or do we got to take your course?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about it.
Okay.
So, the process is to get you to identify two accomplishments that you're very proud of, and ideally, one of them is from work, and one of them is from your personal life. And if it's an accomplishment, there was something that you did that was like magical, right? It just felt magical to you. It's like, oh, if you're really proud of what you did, you're emotionally engaged, and that means you were fully engaged at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were like obsessed with whatever it is you were doing, and it could have been you doing it alone, or it could have been you as a cast of thousands.
Yeah. Okay.
But the role that you played in that accomplishment, you're proud of, and you're proud of it for a reason. And what we need to do is identify the reason that you're so proud of it. What did you do that you're so proud of? And then once we identify what you did, then we're able to pull out of that the three buckets of your beliefs, your wants, and your talents, which are the components of your purpose. Once we have the components of your purpose, then the next step is to say, okay, what is the statement in 7 words or less that ties all of this together? And the thing is that most people don't have enough of a capacity for language to do that.
Yeah.
Most people struggle with words when topics are complex. And so what we have is we have an AI assistant built right into the course. It's called Wordsmith. So you actually, when you do the course, you got me sitting on one side of you, giving you instructions in videos, and you've got Wordsmith holding your hand on the other side when you're actually doing the exercises that reveal your purpose. Wordsmith is there to help you, and Wordsmith helps you in two ways. One is if you're trying to express something and you don't have it right, you can say to Wordsmith, help me express this properly. And then the other thing is you can ask Wordsmith to look at, a whole bunch of information and then say, what do you see here? Tell me what you see. And Wordsmith will help you find your 7 words or less that way.
Yeah. Okay. I remember doing. I don't think it was from finding my purpose, but I do remember doing an exercise where you simplify something. You simplify something. I can't. I swear I don't think it's purpose, but what you're talking about. It sounds like it, but I know it wasn't. Is there a strategy? I know you have Wordsmith, so that's awesome. But is there like my purpose is fill in the blank, or I am fill in the blank? What was yours again? Let me hear what yours was.
Transforming confusion into clarity.
So yeah, you just took out all the I ams. That's why you see you get it down to small.
Great point. Great point, Lee. Here's why you don't do that.
Yeah.
So when I say to you, I'm transforming confusion into clarity, I'm talking about me, right? And think of it as a tent. When I say I transform confusion into clarity, that's a closed tent. There's no room for you in there. It's just me. But when I say transforming confusion into clarity, that's something that's out there. Other people
Mm-hmm.
can be committed to that as well. But because I don't own it, I'm just committed to it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
own it. There's room for you in that tent. So it's like, come on into this transforming into confusion into clarity tent, and we'll all go from confusion to clarity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
But
get
I
it.
can't do that when I do it with a company, or if I were to work with you
Mm-hmm.
to come up with your purpose rather than you taking the course. We have to do it together.
Yeah.
I can't do that by myself. I can't say to you, oh, Lee, here's what your purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure it out with my facilitation, right?
I like it. Yeah.
And in the course of that, you might find the right words, or I might suggest some words for you. And when I do that, you say, oh yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, I had that. I had a colleague. Um, she was a CEO of a company, and we were having drinks after work one day, and she said, I'm bored at work. The company's running itself.
Mm.
And I said, well, it sounds like it's time for a new gig. And she said, yeah, but the thought of that scares the life out of me.
Yeah.
And I thought, sorry about that. I
No way.
thought, oh my God. So this is a woman who had her MBA by the time she was 20.
Mm.
And this was her third CEO gig. And she was worried about going out into the market and looking for another opportunity. And
Right.
as crazy as it sounds, it's actually
Yeah.
quite logical, because here's the process. A career change is what we call a trigger event. And a
Mhm.
career change, as you know, can happen in one of three ways. You can choose to leave, you can be laid off, or you can be fired. And so she was choosing to leave. But when you have a trigger event, it's like the first of four dominoes to fall. The second domino is it creates all sorts of questions that don't have answers. Where am I going to go? Will the marketplace value me? Am I over the hill? Am I actually a pretender? There's all these
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
that go to the heart of who you are that don't have answers. The third domino is the uncertainty that creates. So you've
Mm.
got all sorts of unanswered questions that are creating all sorts of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And that uncertainty, the fourth domino, is that you feel anxiety and even fear as a result. And that's where she was. She said, it scares the life out of me to think about going out and looking for another job. She's actually feeling fear.
Yeah.
So the antidote to uncertainty is clarity. If you can answer
That's
those questions, even if there's some tough answers there, if you can answer those questions, the uncertainty goes away, the clarity comes, the anxiety and fear go down, right?
yeah.
So in that situation, you have a trigger event, you're feeling the anxiety. If you have a purpose, if you know your purpose, it'll help you answer those questions, right? So I said to her, why don't we figure out your purpose and see where that leads us?
Okay.
So she talked and talked and talked. And I said, here's the image that this is conjuring up to me. You've got, and pardon my ignorance, Lee, because I don't really know military, but you've got, a whole bunch of troops who have just finished a battle. They're marching, and they come to the edge of a minefield. And they're going like, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And how the heck am I going to get across this minefield without blowing my leg off or worse?
Yeah.
And so they're all there saying, geez, it's one thing after another. I just want to get to safety. And a new leader comes to them. And so that's the scenario. What she told
Okay.
me is that she can't engage her mind in a project unless it's a tire fire. The more dire the situation, the more engaged she becomes and the more her intelligence comes to the fore. And I said, so I've conjured up this image of you being a new leader to all these troops, and you standing in front of them and saying, don't worry, I've crossed 1,000,000 minefields safely. I am an expert in crossing minefields, and I will lead you safely across the minefield. And you can imagine, the troops in that situation hearing that, hearing a leader so calm and confident and telling you, I'll get you to the other side. Just follow me. It's like, thank you. Thank you. Right? Like it's not, you're not just saying, oh, good. They're the, "Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. I don't
yeah,
have time."
yeah,
And so
yeah.
safely through the minefield became her purpose statement.
Okay.
And so now she's out looking for this other job. And a headhunter comes to her, says, I got a great opportunity for you. Fabulous company on a great growth curve. It's doing great. And what it needs is a new leader who is going to keep it on that growth path. What would 99 out of 100 CEO candidates say about an opportunity like that? Sign me up. What did she say? No,
Yeah, she
not
wants something
interested.
difficult. Yeah.
Not interested. I don't want to manage a company. I want a tire fire. And he said, well, I got a steaming pile of crap over here, but I'm embarrassed to show it to you. And she said, that's what I want to see. So you see how leading safely through the minefield shaped her decision when she had, if she didn't have that as guidance, she might have taken the shiny penny and it would have been wrong for her. And 6 months in, she'd be sitting there saying, what am I doing? I'm bored already.
Mm, mm.
So there had to be a minefield. There has to be a minefield for her. And if
Yeah.
there's no minefield, it's like, nope, not for me.
I like that. I like that. One, so what I'm taking from it is, finding your purpose kind of gives you, those guardrails you talked about earlier. It gives you perspective. It gives you clarity. I like using your words on how to make decisions going forward. It influences your mindset a little bit. In this show, I like to talk about mindset and how your mind tells you stories. And you gave examples like all those things that caused the anxiety when she thought about leaving a career that she had and going someplace else, right? But by understanding her purpose, she knew not to just jump from one thing that she didn't want to be in to the next thing, right? She was
Exactly.
able to make a better decision. And
Exactly.
that's that. I like to say that with hindsight as well. You're constantly learning. And the more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about who you are, how your mindset works, all of these things, what your purpose is, you make better decisions to get you to where you want to be in the future, right? And your future
Mhm.
self can look back and say, hey, Ian, thank you so much for making those amazing decisions. We're right where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it to you right now. And I just want to ask, like, what's one question that someone, probably me, can ask that I haven't asked yet? Like, what's something that the people need to be asking you?
Well, I sort of have two answers to that. So one is that, whoops, did I just go blank on you there? I hope not.
I
Um,
still see you.
okay, good. Um, it goes back to what I was saying about the 8 billion people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they, what I say about purpose, the two primary benefits of knowing your purpose is that it elevates your confidence,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you have a superpower that nobody can take away from you. And it helps you make better decisions. And because of that, you can function much better in the world. You can do special things. You're deserving of special things. And I think everybody should feel that way, right?
Oh
Whether
yeah.
you, whether you believe the ride on this planet is a one-off or it's just your current iteration, and future stuff will happen. It doesn't matter. While you're here, why not make the best of while you're here? And and I can't think of a better place to start the knowing the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. That's your stand. That's who you are as a person, right? And you're currently being that person. You're just not being it intentionally because you don't know what your purpose is. So you can be it more intentionally, the best you can possibly be. So if if that's the message that I would send, and then it's with a caution, and it's a very self-serving caution, I recognize. So, but you can't do therapy on yourself, right? People, the traditional path to finding your purpose is do a whole bunch of reading, go to blogs, listen to podcasts, do some navel gazing and that sort of thing. And where does it get you? How's it, as they say, how's that working for you? I've created a disciplined step-by-step process for you to go through so that your purpose statement pops out at the other end. You can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
But what you can do in between now and registering for my course, if I can boldly say, is you can think about this question. If everything that you do and say is a means to an end, what's the end? What's the end purpose of that?
Yeah.
Right. So look out at everything that you do and say, because all that stuff is a manifestation of your purpose. It's an expression of your purpose. So it helps you rather than just looking at everything, looking at your life willy-nilly, it gives some context to that, which is all this stuff that I'm looking at that I do and say, what's the common thread? Now,
Mhm.
it's going to be really virtually impossible for you to figure out the common thread, but the thinking that you do in trying to get there will be really valuable in the course.
Mhm. I like it.
So there's my plug.
I like it. Hey, so I want you to finish this sentence. Since this is hindsight, looking back now, I understand that.
Oh,
That's a good
so
one.
I'm 66 years old, right? So I'm at a time of life where I think about a question like that.
Yeah.
And I think, can you express the question again so that I can answer it properly?
Like looking back now, I understand that bananas are good for me. Like anything, right?
You should figure out your passion before you're 20 and then follow your passion.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Because if I did that, I would have been in a band. I'd be a rock star.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
not a star, but I'd be a rock.
That is a good one. So now that's a plug to the under 20s.
Yeah.
I struggle, you bring that up and I struggle with it. I guess if I were to really think about it, I was like, what is my purpose? Like why am I here? What do I want to do with the rest of my life is typically the question that was resonating with me at the time when I was young.
Right.
Where do I want to go to school? What do I want? All of these different things, because I liked what you said, whether this is a one-off or if you're being reincarnated, focus on the now. Focus
Right.
on the things that you can control. You can't control the past because it's already happened, and you can't control the future, but you can kind of, you know what I'm saying? You can manipulate it a little
Yeah.
bit by what you do right now.
Yes.
That is a great stop. Anyway, I'm saying it out loud because they say when you say things out loud, it resonates better with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You spend so much time worrying about future stuff or stuck in the past on things that have already happened, right?
Mhm.
If you didn't like what happened in the past, then hey, don't make the same decisions over and over again. I blame myself on that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just make
Yeah.
the same damn decisions. It's like, why'd you do it again? I don't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm chasing that shiny penny or that shiny coin,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, oh
You
man,
just need
I love,
you need the guidance, the
yeah.
assistance of your purpose in making those decisions to make sure that those decisions align with your purpose, which means they align with your beliefs, wants, and talents.
Yeah. And I'm gonna ask one last question. If someone listening today feels lost or stuck, what's the one mindset shift you hope they walk away with?
Oh,
See, I'm giving you those 66-year-old questions where you got to think about it and give.
I'm gonna quote George Harrison of the Beatles.
Okay, there you
Right.
go.
So he studied Buddhism. I don't know if he became a Buddhist but he just, he lived Buddhist values.
Yeah.
And he wrote a song called All Things Must Pass. And and the lines are some of the, like, the rainfall won't last all morning. The sunshine goes away at the end of the day. All things must pass, right? And Buddhists believe that whatever angst you are feeling now is like a cloud that's in your vision. And that cloud is going to pass. And whatever it is you're feeling now will pass. But we think, oh, whatever it is we're feeling now, oh, that awful feeling is, it's like, no. No, that cloud will pass, and you will feel better. So you just have to sit and relax and let it pass.
One of the things I used to say to my guys in the military, guys and gals, actually, when I got to out the units, it's just a moment in time. In the military,
Same expression.
You spend a whole lot of time being uncomfortable. And another one is be comfortable or get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that helps you grow. Now, obviously, that's definitely a military thing because we're always in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, but I get it. You say that,
Yeah.
and I've never been in the military, and I totally get it. It's like, this is the new normal.
Yeah.
You're gonna be wet. You're gonna be cold. You're gonna be sleeping on rocks.
You can complain and moan and complain. You're still gonna be here, right? So just come to grips. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Man, a flood of memories just came back of things I experienced in the military, but just having that mindset, it made it easier to go through it. You know what I mean? You talked about the rain, just being soaking wet, period. Just all this gear, soaking wet, just miserable. It's a little cold.
Yeah.
And you just come to grips. And lastly, for me personally, we used to go to the field, right? We go to train or we get deployed to another country. And like the first day, it's uncomfortable, But then after that, you said it earlier, it's like the new normal.
Yeah.
Like we were in Iraq for, I think, 7 months, 8 months. After that first couple of days.
Yeah, couple of days to get acclimatized.
It seems
the new normal.
It seems like this is where you've been for years, It's weird like that. But that's just being able to understand that it's just a moment in time. Embrace the experiences. Some experiences are horrific, right? Especially when you're in the military and in life, period, But if you get through it, it's a moment in time. And you'll come back a different person, mentally, physically, whatever it is, right? But you'll have those experiences to fall back on.
I think the first line of All Things Must Pass is sunrise doesn't last all morning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's going to get up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been on a number of podcasts, military podcasts, where I'm being hosted by a veteran, speaking to veterans, because although I have never served, I have helped military organizations, and I've talked to lots of veterans, and I have come to understand that the transition from military life to civilian life can be one that is fraught, with all sorts of problems. And one of the problems, one of the hosts said to me, he said, yeah, a lot of military veterans come home and they've just spent, 6 months or a year with bullets zipping by their heads, and now they're writing marketing copy. I said, yeah, it's because they didn't take a job that's aligned with their beliefs, wants, and talents, because they don't know what their beliefs, wants, and talents are, and they don't know what their purpose is. If they did, there are plenty of jobs in civilian life that someone who has spent a year with bullets whizzing by his or her head would be happy in. You got to know your purpose in order to pick the right job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
The thing I have a lot of veterans have said to me is that when they come into civilian life, they feel inferior in a way.
Because I'm gonna tell you a quick mentality. It's not, obviously it's not everybody, but the things we would say is in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're in the military, and it's like, all right, in the real world, like it's some other thing, some other place.
Yeah.
That's that mentality that's instilled in us. And
And
it seems like the military is so organized. It's, someone's doing this, it's super organized. And out there, you honestly got to fight for yourself. It's just a different mentality, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this idea that, you feel somehow because you haven't been operating in that world, that you're not as competent at operating in that world as the people who have been there all along. And I'll tell you, all things being equal, if I had the choice between a veteran and a non-veteran, again, all things being equal, I would choose the veteran 100 times out of 100 because I know that they have been faced with things that go way beyond the normal person. And because they're here sitting in front of me, they figured out how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's special. So to me, when veterans what was the expression you used? The real world? Back to the real world?
It's
When
the real
veterans
world.
go into the real world, they have a competitive advantage, but they
Mhm.
just don't feel like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you know your purpose, then and your veteranness, your military experience will somehow come out in that, or will be a manifestation of that, and you'll see, the superpower that you've got. Because not only do you know your purpose, which is a superpower, but
Mhm.
bloody hell, you survived.
I
You
know.
survived an
I know.
environment where people are trying to kill you every day.
I know. It's crazy, man. My first 10 years in the military was nothing. It was I call it the actually I don't know what I call it, but after that I call it the war years because that's when all the wars and I was constantly heading out and deploying and things like that. And you really get a different mindset, I believe. I did
Yeah,
personally.
absolutely. And
And
that mindset is very valuable. It's
yeah.
very valuable out in the marketplace, more
Yeah.
valuable than the average person.
All right, Ian. Hey, before we go on, we about to do podcast episode number 2. So, but if anybody wants to know more about you or take your course or work with you, like how can they reach out and connect with you?
Okay, so you can see it right on my screen. So you see how it says PurposeU, like Purpose University.
Mhm.
I should have put PurposeU.ai.
Mhm.
So the website is PurposeU.ai, and that's where you can go to register. And what I'm going to do, we are in our soft launch phase right now. The course is available, but it's a soft launch, and we have special pricing in our soft launch. So I'm going to send you a discount code, and if you want to put that discount code in the show notes so that your users can use the discount code. And also, if you can let them know that they can share it. So they
Oh,
can not
nice.
only use the discount code themselves, they can give it. You can share the gift of purpose with
Yeah.
family and friends.
Okay, I like it. So PurposeU.ai.
PurposeU.ai.
And I'll have it on the screen so it doesn't. Hey, Ian, I just want to thank you for bringing your insight, your clarity, and your purpose to Hindsight the Podcast. And for the listeners, look, I hope you got something out of this. I know I did. I always do. But if you're ready to define your own 7 words or less, I want you to please check out PurposeU and Ian Blueprint for the Purpose course. Okay. And don't forget to follow, rate, and share the show because sometimes clarity is just one sentence. I can't even say it. It's just one sentence away. But
7
Ian,
words
I
and
really
less away. Yeah.
it's a phrase. It's a, what is it called? What is it when it's not a sentence? It's a
A clause.
clause. Is it a clause? Yeah, there it is. I tell you, I've been out too long, so I need to get back in there and learn all of these grammar terms. But Ian, I really want to thank you for coming on the show, and everyone out there. Go ahead.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your audience.
Beautiful. All right, till next time. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for joining me here on Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. And while I have you here, why don't you take your mouse, go over and click on that subscribe button. No, not right there. Over to the right. Down, right there. Boom. Thank you. Now, thank you for subscribing to Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones.